Hello out there, you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time, your ear, and listening into another Connectivity video. And I know that this one is a couple days late. Unfortunately, I had started the video and did the video, and then I just didn't like how it turned out. So I'm doing it again. Yeah, that means it didn't meet its Wednesday deadline, unfortunately. But hey, you're getting it on a Friday, so I mean, you got some time at least. But Star Trek Deep Space for the Xbox One and to be used with the Kinect. That's something I had thought about for a while. Like, why aren't there more space exploration type games on the 360, and why aren't there ones that kind of utilize the Kinect? And then you got to think about how Star Trek is with all of the different consoles with the lights and the buttons and things that you hit on, and they have all these different functions and things that you can do, like opening up communicators, turning on weapons and using them to fire, teleporting people in. Like, there's just like a lot of different things that those consoles can do that I think actually would have been very well utilized in a video game if somebody actually took their time to buckle down and actually make a game based on the Star Trek franchise, but not like Star Trek Online, because that itself is a separate thing. But just like a standalone single player adventure where you are the captain of an Enterprise, not Enterprise, a Starfleet ship, because it can't be. It can't be Enterprise. It has to be its own thing. It has to be its own separate entity away from the space station that Cisco runs, Voyager and Enterprise. Like, it has to be separated from those things. Now, my thought process is kind of like how Telltale games work, and how the Knights of the Old Republic games and Jade Empire and stuff like that. How all these games have different choices that you can make that lead to different paths and different outcomes in different situations that can give you an overall story. Now, the first thing is for how you would play the game and operate it. Obviously, you'd be using your hands. You use your hands for touching different functions within the ship, as well as different things like as far as like dialogue choices and things like that. So your character would be given a voice, and you'd be allowed to choose different dialogue options. Or if someone wanted to actually speak, like they actually wanted to say the given quotes and actually speak it themselves to the game, and obviously the Xbox One Kinect has a mic that could actually pick up on your voice and apply it. So it would be like, if you choose to read a sentence off, it would start highlighting the words as you're reading the sentence, and once you finish the sentence, then the selection would be made, and then the action would be taken forward. If, like with dialogue choices, like outside of that is just using one of like several different character voices, and then you just pick one of the options with your hands. Or again, it can still enable voice for, like, you can make it multiple choice. You can say 1, 2, or 3, or 4, depending on the number of choices. And that could choose like your dialogue options between different characters, like when you're dealing with the Klingons or the Borg, or damn, there's so many different races in Star Trek. I'm so far behind on Star Trek lore, it isn't even funny. But when I was thinking about that, then there's also the opportunity, like, just say like you're doing a supply run and like you're talking to another Starfleet commander and stuff like that, or like in like your general interaction with these characters that are in other ships, and even your own crew that are within your own ship. Like, all of these different interactions lead to different branching story parts and things that you can deal with. Now, how I see the game working, within your ship as the captain, you can move about to different rooms, again, interacting with different people in different ways. within your ship, within your crew, and the inhabitants of your particular ship. All that simply would be is just a wave of the hand to basically move your character to different locations or bring up options, and then you just pick and choose from there where you want to go. But as when you're in the, I guess you would say when you're on the deck. I think that's about as far as they got with that. When you're on the when you're in the captain's seat, and you have to do video communications with other commanders of ships and things like that back and forth when you're talking with different entities. Their different interactions can lead to whether or not you are going to have to defend yourself against someone or attack someone. Just the very different things chosen. Obviously, how the actual shows were run, like how James, I think his name was James. Captain Kirk's first name was James, right? Or Captain Picard, or any number of other Starfleet commanders that we've seen over years throughout the various TV shows, how they've had to deal with different oncoming situations. So basically, what I would want this game to be like is like you are the character in the show. You are like the lead character of a Star Trek series for a show. And something like this actually could be done episodically, though I personally would prefer it not be. But if it was done in an episodic manner, it could extend its life and wouldn't necessarily have to be like the most expensive game out there. It could actually be rather cheap. So I'm just thinking about all of that, and I was just like considering how all these things would work out together, like how they could be interesting for somebody who's a Star Trek fan who's always wanted to be like actually sitting in that commander's chair, and this would simulate that for you. And again, it's something that can be done with the Kinect. It's not. You could also argue that this could be done with VR, and I would say yes, you could also do this with VR, but definitely with Kinect, at least you're not cut off from the world. With VR, you kind of are. So that's the option there. Like, and I think I've said it before though. The Kinect was like the perfect lead into VR that never got used. It was literally everything that VR needed without the headset. The Xbox One's version of Kinect was everything VR needed without the headset. That was it. I mean, you could also argue that the Wii Remote and Nunchuck and even the Wii U Gamepad in ways were things that VR needed just without the headset. But I know I've just tossed a bunch of random ideas in here. Obviously, if this is going to be from a personal perspective, I would personally like for the game to be able to snap a picture of you and map your face onto the character. Now, I know it can't necessarily mimic your voice because I don't even know if technology out there for that would exist. And if it does, I'm pretty damn sure it's extremely expensive. So I wouldn't want something like that forced upon a video game just yet. Plus, it might also be kind of weird to have the game speaking in your voice without you speaking. That might put a few people off in weird ways. But I do think like some sort of voice recognition software could be slipped into it, because it's not like the Xbox doesn't have Cortana now, and which would make it very possible. And there are also all sorts of AI assistants coming out for mobile platforms right now that can do similar things to what Cortana does. Some of them better. But that was it. In my mind, I just had so many jumbled thoughts, and I know this wasn't exactly coherent. But a Star Trek game where you are the captain with branching story choices and options and different things affect, like earlier choices will definitely have an effect on something later on because of maybe how you responded to or treated a particular person or group. So there's a lot of potential in there for it to be something that would be fun, something that would be interesting, and it can actually put you in the seat of a Starfleet commander. And I think that would actually be pretty cool. But that's it. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears up for more stuff from me. And until the next time, please enjoy your games and peace out.